Next is we are going to study about level of details. Now, what do we understand by the term level of details? So level of detail is nothing but whenever you want to run any type of a complex queries, which involves dimensions, which involves data source levels, and everything like dimensions is also included, some measures is also included, and also there are some filtrations on the data level. So rather than doing a filter on both of the terms and every of the thing, what we can do is that, like, in a simple way, if I want to apply a filter into my data set, so simply like in any of the dashboards where let's say I have a data wherein on the basis of my category group, or not a group, but basically on my product name, I can have the different states and maybe their sum of quantities. That's what I can see for, or maybe based on the different states, I can see for the quantities that I can do for, right? Now, here in this case, when I'm looking for the quantity, or probably I am taking the count of the quantities in this case, basically. So if you see in this case, I'm taking a distinct count of the quantities. So when I'm doing that for a say, let's suppose, and I want to apply a filter because I can see that there are a lot of state names and I want to apply a filter for. So in a simple way, what the filter is, I can just simply take the filter and I can select all of them and I can say apply and OK. And I can just right click and say show filter. So that will show you a filter in a form. Now, if you want to have a drop down, you can do it in that way. So right now, if let's suppose I want to see for Alabama, I can see for Alabama. If I want to see the filter for Delaware, I can see it for that. If I want to see it for Idaho, I can see it for that. So basically, I can see it for all of them. In fact, I can have multiples. Like I can show for Florida, I can show for this, like this. If I want to show it just for like some of this. So like this way, I can show for some of the quantities or maybe some of them. So that's a basic level of filter that you are applying. Now, there are some filters which are also there. If you edit, you have a like a custom filter or a top 10 filters, wherein based on the top 10 values of the quantity, you're applying that filter. So this is limited to top 10 values. So now if I remove it, it will show you the top 10 states. Basically on that front, it will show you the basic top 10 states accordingly. Okay. Now, this is something which is for the filters. Now, let's suppose if I want to apply a filter for the state also, if I want to apply a filter on the quantity as well, that okay, whatever the quantity I'm watching for, I want to apply a filter on that it should be an average for this to this, or maybe a range this to maybe 7, and I want to apply for that. So that that's way I can see like an average quantity in a way. And then like that way, I want to apply 2 filters together. Then in that case, it becomes very complex. So to overcome this complex, we have a very easy method of LOD, which is also termed as a level of detail in our data view. That's a very simple term, which is known as LOD. Now, let's understand what is LOD. LOD is basically, I told you, it's for the complex queries. Now, there are various types when we talk about LODs. So, the types of LODs that are there is, one is a fixed LOD, wherein the expression computes the value using a specific dimension without the reference to any other dimensions in the view. So, you don't have a reference to any dimensions in the view, but you are only having a reference to a specific context of the dimensions, or which is computing to a one value. Now in that, it might happen you have the expression will remain fixed. For example, if I am finding the sales across the states, then I would say that for a particular country, for the various states, that should be fixed, and I would be looking for the sales in that front. So this is how I can basically see that. This is one of a way of seeing it. So that is called as the fixed LOD term, wherein everything gets fixed. Let's see an example. So LODs are normal expressions that you create by using a calculated column itself. You are creating a calculation over here. So I have taken region and I have taken state over here. And I've created a formula where I have basis on the region. My regions are fixed. I'm seeing the sum of sales. So as I can see from here, my regions are fixed. But I'm looking for the sum of sales. So if you see for the central, you will see a single sum of sale that I'm talking about. For east, I have a same sum of sales. Similarly, for the south, I have a single sum of sales that I'm seeing across. For west, same. So it's same across. So that means for the central, I'm getting a complete overview. So if I just remove the state from here, for central, I am getting a complete sales. What is the total sales for central? What is the total sales for east? What is the total sales for south? And what is the total sales for west? So now if in future there are any other regions that are needed to be added, or maybe any other states that get added in future, so then also my data won't change in that way and will not hamper the filters in any which way. So this is termed as a fixed LOD. Now there is an include LOD. Include means when in the level of detail you are including any specific dimensions, or you're adding those dimensions in a view, then we call this as an include LOD. Now, how that include LOD works, let's see. Let's say in this case, when I'm including an LOD, I am doing it for the regional sales. And what I am doing over here is I am including my sales that for each of the states, I want to see the sum of sales. So when I do that, I am basically able to see that for each state, I am seeing the sum of sales. Okay, so for each state, my sum of sales are there. 631 and everything, my sum of sales are there. So if let's say I drop the states over in the label as well, and my LOD details also. So you will able to see that for you will see that for California, you have accessories, and this is my LOD details that are there. This is for the different states you have your detail level or LOD level that is available. So that's how it shows you the value basically. Okay. That for each state you are looking for the value. Now, based on subcategory also has been divided for each of the states. Like for each of the state, what are the my regional sales that I'm going to see over in the include section. So here for each of the state, I know the variations. Similarly, when I talk about exclude LOD, so then exclude LOD basically is a subtract dimension from the. So when you are fixing a level of details, like the number of sales for each state in each region, first you fix that up, and then you are removing the next data. So basically, whatever you want to exclude. So for the number of sales for some states, I want to see the details, and for some I want to exclude it. So then in that case, I will do an exclude LOD. In that case, I'll create that exclude LOD. Now, how I'm going to, let's see. Okay. So let's say in this case, when I'm doing this for the various months and for the various region, I'm showing the sum of sales. Now, in this, I have used an exclude LOD for regional sales, where what I am doing is I'm basically excluding the region. I'm finding the sum of sales. So my regions have been excluded from the data. Just based on the months, I'm seeing the data for that particular, for the particular data set. I'm just seeing the data. That's it. So some of the regions have been excluded from my data set as per my requirement. So that is what is termed as an exclude LOD, wherein I want to exclude some of the details from my data and I want to represent it in a fixed view. So if you see the details over here, it says fixed level of detail expression, how you can write that. Next, you can drag the region and the state from the row shelf, and then you can simply see the calculations and you can see that everything is fixed. Similarly, if I talk about the include level of dimensions, so the same way you want to include it. And in the exclude section, if you work, so then you will have an exclude region, sales of figures and events. And if you would relevantly drag any of the respective data in the shelf or anything of that sort, so based on that, it will show you the excluded region of sum of sales in the figure screenshot. So these were the level of details, in fact, and the level of terms that we use. So those are the facts and figures that we have for level of details and LODs. So these level of details and LODs are very much important because they will help you to understand the data sets, to have a more complex writing of the data, and to work with the data in a very aggregate and a very good way. Okay, so that's how we work with the LODs and all that.